Okay, we've got a bit of delay on this one, I think. Hopefully we should catch up in just a second. Okay, a couple more minutes and we'll start. I think we're good to go. We are recording, so that's good. Okay. Okay, so it's 12:30. Let's go, because we said we'd get started earlier. So, okay, let me just start by asking you a question. What if I told you that I could save you huge costs in your business, significant costs within your business, that I could help you to reduce turnover, I could help you to increase engagement, and I could improve the decision-making within your teams. I could also save you time, meaning that you can get back to doing what you set up in business to do originally. By answering pretty much 7 simple questions, we can get you on the road to all of those things I've just promised you. Sound interesting? Okay, all right. Well, stick with me for the next, it'll be about sort of 25 minutes. So stick with me for the next sort of half an hour or so, and I will show you how to do all of the above: reduce turnover, increase engagement, reduce costs, give you back your time as a business owner, in order that you can get back to doing what you wanted to do in business. So I will also share with you the 7 questions that we ask and when we work with clients, how we ask them and how we get to our sort of owner intent and destination. So that's what I promised. Like I said, it will be about sort of like 30 minutes in total. Stick with us and we will run through all of the details with you. We hope you enjoy this session. So quick intro for those who don't know us or haven't worked with us yet. My name is Karen Watkins. I am the founder of Rowan Consulting and Rowan Tribe. And basically I help tired, frustrated, or incredibly busy business owners with change and growth within their business by working on the human side of what you do. So I'm a business owner myself, I'm an organisational coach, and I'm also an HR expert of 10 years who works with the human side of managing your business. To find out more about us, that's what I'm going to say, but to find out more about us, if you want to check out what we do and how we do it and who we do it with, just take a quick trip over to our website, which is www.rowanhr.com, and you can check out all of the information on there. Or indeed, you can send us a message at hello@rowanhr.com and we'll happily have a discovery call with you. So anyway, that's enough about us. Let's move on. Let's crack on. We've got a short period of time. We've got a lot to get through. So in this session, what we're going to talk about, let me share my screen with you and I will tell you what we will be talking about. Okay, so basically, these are the areas that we're going to be sort of like talking about. So owner intent, how to reduce costs and increase engagement, aka get back to what you enjoy doing. A little bit about me, which we've already discussed, so we'll skip through this. All of this will be on the link afterwards. So owner intent. Where are you going is the question that this intends to ask. So, and the purpose behind it is when you have clear intention within your business, it creates a condition of absolute clarity and it is intrinsically linked to your business and its success. Okay, I can't define that sort of enough. It gives your staff the instant reason for engaging in any activity that you do and a measure for the condition of what is important to your business. And if we know what is important within your business, then you know automatically what you should be focusing on and what you should be, not only what you should be focusing on, but also what your teams and employees should be focusing on. Basically, it gives you your message and your staff their purpose. That's the reason that they're turning up. In the session, we're going to talk about what is it and how do we find it and how does it help us build engaged teams and improve retention? Why should you have one in order to sort of save costs and time on your business? How in the world do you find it and where do you start? But we'll also provide you, more importantly, with the 7 key questions to help you set your direction. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be covering. And bear with me, take off your share screen and we're back into the room. Okay, so let me start by telling you a very sort of quick story. So we started working with a client only last week who, great business, exceptional growth, really good, solid product or products. and we're looking sort of to consolidate and expand sort of what they've got and to sort of set a different sort of destination. The plan is that the business owner will step aside ultimately, and is looking to develop their emerging leaders into the roles and responsibilities that will require them to have to step back. So midterm, it starts off with things like wanting to take more holiday, wanting to take more time away from the business and not having to be there all of the time. Longer term, I think it will be an exit strategy, and will ultimately sort of, I think, probably aim in the individual phasing out and an MBA taking place in terms of the people who are already there. So, but sort of from a short-term perspective, what we're looking at and what he wanted to get was he wanted to get his life back. He'd set up a business, he wanted to do it for a particular set of circumstances. And as with all of us, it becomes incredibly time consuming, and he just wanted his life and his time back. And because of the growth of the business and where it was going, it was the feeling he was at that point of saying, I want to get my life back, but I know I also want to concentrate on my business. So I want the best of both worlds, but I want to have, to have both. And that's how we got engaged with him from an organizational coaching perspective. That's how we help sort of clients. Anyhow, so what does this have to do with owner intent? Well, apart from him being incredibly intentional about where his business was going and what he wanted to achieve from it and what he wanted to get from it, there was a huge amount of owner intent involved in that. But more importantly, it was more around the frustration and the challenge of engaging the team to come with him at the pace that he wanted to do it. So he wanted his team to just get on with it. In his head, it was very clear about what was going to happen. He was very clear about what he wanted to do, and he wanted his team to just get on with it. And he was asking questions such as, why can't they just, or why won't they just? And for us, that's the trigger in terms of how we can sort of help and support, and we can sort of build that sort of growth plan in. So these questions always lead back to owner intent, and I'll show you how in just a second. But it's the owner intent and the purpose. And the reason that they can't, when you find yourself, or if you find yourself saying, I just want them to do this, and why can't my teams, or why won't my teams just do this? The reason they can't, or the reason they won't, 99% of the time is down to lack of clarity. And the other 1% is to do with recruitment, but that's a whole separate webinar. But 99% of the time, if you're asking questions of why can't they, or why won't they, or you're asking questions of why can't they just, that is down to a lack of clarity. And a lack of clarity is directly resulted or directly linked to your owner intent and your destination. When you work with us, you realize our 6-stage plan is destination, direction, roadmap, leader, team, continuity. Simple. And the destination is the first place that we start. And if we've got clarity around that destination, that's when I said to you, that gives you sort of the clarity in the business, it gives your team their purpose, and it brings everything sort of together. So everything then, once it is together, starts to speed up and everybody understands what is expected of them. So I think, if I could give you an analogy, I would give you, most of you who've worked with us will know this, but we will give you a bus analogy. So if I said to you, here's a ticket, here's where you're going, jump on the bus, then you're more likely to go. If you know where you're going and you know what's to be expected, then you're more likely to go. So you have a choice, and you have an understanding of sort of like how much engagement you want to sort of, you want to go with it. So if you want to go to the destination of the coach ticket I've just given you, you're going to get on the bus and you're going to go. You're going to know what you're going to need to pack. You're going to know what you're going to need to prepare. If you know where you're going, you'll know what to pack, you'll know what to prepare, and you'll know how much time to allocate to it, and you'll know what's going to happen when you get on the other end, because you would have already planned it. If I then said to you, here's a ticket to get on a bus, but I'm not going to tell you where you are going, would you still get on the bus? And I know some of you will say you will, because you like the idea of a magical mystery tour. But my point being is that if I didn't tell you the destination, I just said to you, just get on the bus and come with us, you might be intrigued to see where the bus is going. you might be intrigued to understand sort of what's going on. But over time, you will probably then start to think about, well, hang on a minute, how do I make good choices if I'm on here? How do I know what to take? How do I know what to pack? How do I know how long this is going to take me? How do I know, what's going to happen when I get there? And that analogy is exactly, if you don't have owner intent and you don't have your destination clear, that's what your team is feeling. That's what they will be feeling right now. So this is why we try and say to you, it's really important to be able to define that destination. And, by setting your owner intent and by setting your destination, you are setting your purpose, you are setting your values, you are setting your legacy, you are setting the roadmap to where you want to go. And you're also setting why they should come with you. And that's the engagement part. That's the part where individuals will take the decision about whether they engage and come with you or whether they don't. So if you've got high turnover, or you've got your experience of individuals who aren't doing what you want, you've got, mismatched teams, they're not talking to one another, you've got siloed decision making, all of those types of teams, all of those types of issues, then it is likely that there is a lack of clarity and your destination just needs to be reconfirmed. And as we always say in Marie Forleo's term, with clarity comes confidence. So if you've got the clarity, you've got the definition, and you know where you're going, with clarity comes confidence, and that confidence in your employees will then come through. And it also sets the tone of how you deal with your clients as well, because if you have, it's not just about clients, they are vitally important to what we do, but there is also the engagement between your employees and your clients. And if you know what it is that you're delivering, then your employees are able to then, make that message consistent. And like I said, it's how teams engage and interact. So that's the reason, that's the purpose, that's why we work with you, to be able to do it. We'll share with you in just a second the owner intent destination sheet, which is the 7 questions. Once you do those 7 questions, if you want to download it, we'll give you the link anyway. But when you set those questions in motion and you start to think about them, what will naturally happen is not only will you set your destination, but you will also set your drivers, what is important to you, your values, your compass, which is your North Star, your behaviors that you require from your team, which, like I said, will engage and motivate individuals to decide whether they want to get on or get off the bus. If you have clarity, you have confidence, and you have engagement. And the reverse of that is, if you then have, by doing that exercise, if you then have staff which are disengaged and want to get off the bus, that's not a bad thing. When you are building teams from a growth perspective and you are looking at your next stage emerging leaders, or you are looking at individuals in order to sort of grow your business, whether you stay in your business or whether you sell your business, whatever your strategy is in terms of growth or exit or buyout or whatever, those teams need to be clear on what that is, and they need to be clear on what their role towards that goal is. And when you get that, you either get engaged teams or you get disengaged individuals, and disengaged individuals will leave your business. And like I said, that's not a bad thing, right? If they don't want to be on a bus and they don't want to come on the journey, then that's fine too. I reassure you, that's fine too. You don't have to keep them. So how do you find it? Okay, let me share my screen with you one more time. So the list of questions. No, it's not going to come up on my screen. Okay, no worries. So we don't want to share that one. Stop sharing that one. Okay, so in terms of the 7 questions, I will share the link with you. I mean, basically it's available at www.rowanhr.com/resources, and look for owner intent. But the reason that we do it, I've got a little paper copy here, so I'll show you this little copy here. This is what it will look like. Okay. And the questions that are on there, like I said, will help you sort of define what it is and where you're going. Before you do that, one thing that you could start in terms of an exercise to check whether your destination is clear and whether it is understood by members of your team. So here's the first thing I want you to do. Start by asking yourself, are you clear on where you are going and what you want to achieve with your business? Okay, so first question, Are you clear on where you are going and what you want to achieve from your business? Okay. When you're clear on that, then you can start communicating it with the rest of the team and testing it with the rest of the team. If you're not clear on it, that's fine. It's just that we need to do some work on getting it clear. And this little gold dust piece of information here will help you with that. So second thing, so once you've checked it with yourself, once you've been sat quietly and you've had to think about it and you've had a bit of a reflection, even in the times that we're in now and the situation that we all sort of find ourselves in, just go back and check. Things have changed over the last 18 months significantly for a lot of people. So to go back and do this exercise now is a really good time to be able to do it. So sit quietly, ask yourself that question. Am I clear on my destination? Do I know where I'm going? And do I know what I want my business to achieve for me? Okay. Second thing I want you to do is then I want you to pick a percentage of your team, say 20% of your team. Okay. And now I want you to ask them the same question. Okay. Do you know where you are going and what your role is in this business to get there? Okay. So 20% of your business, no matter how big your business is, 20% of your business, go and ask them, do you know where this business is going? And do you know what your role is in getting us to that destination? Okay. 2 or 3 things will probably happen. You might get, well, is it sort of, I think I remember something about, are we going here? Anything with integratory intonation, where it goes up at the end of the end of the sentence, then you need to do something about it. That shows that they're not particularly clear on where they're going. If you get, yes, the destination is very, very clear. We are going in the next 5 years to this point, and within the next 2 years, we're going to this point. And my role in that is to develop your customers and your clients in order to be able to create more revenue, to be able to grow the business. That's better. Do you get the idea of the 2 differences? You get the difference between them. Ums and ahs isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means you need to reset your destination. Those that are able to communicate it quite clearly to you are the ones that will be your emerging leaders and will be the ones that will be coming with you on that journey. See the difference? Okay. Third option is if you get, hold on a second, I'll just ask you or my manager, or I'll just ask. If you get that, then we need to be having a more serious conversation. You need to call us and we need to be having, we need to be having a talk, my friend. So that's the 3 sort of responses that you get. And we've tried this, we've worked with clients. We did it with a client last October. And he was very clear about what his destination was. He had a beautiful document that he had compiled. And it was clear in terms of where they were going, and it was clear on what revenue needed to be produced and what the products were in terms of what would get them there to be able to achieve that. It was a beautifully written document. The execution of the communication probably wasn't as good as you'd wanted it to be. So what happened was when we went back out to the business and we said to the representation of the workforce, we said to them, okay, so what is it that where are we going in terms of this business? What is it we want to achieve? What is your role in that? How do you support that? And how do your objectives sort of like fold into that? What became quite clear is we did get a lot of ums and ers. We got a lot of, we also got a lot of people who were quite quiet, who didn't want to say something because they just felt that it wasn't their place to say something. But what actually happened was a huge positive in that we sort of took the information back and we sort of sat down and we looked at it and we went, okay, so got a few ums and ers. We've got 2 that have gone, yes, I'm very, very clear on it and can communicate that. And then we had quite a lot of silence. And just with that exercise, the confidence that gave him to then say, hang on a minute, I've not communicated this, as well as I should have done. And that might be around the leadership style and the style of communication. I think it's quite easy to put out a written document sometimes and think that that will be enough. When realistically, you know, the forms of communication that he needed to use across a team of what were 40, 45 people was quite different, and required different styles of communication, and required, to a certain extent, some reiteration. So, you know, if nothing else, what happened is we took that beautiful document and we turned it into something which was much more alive, which was much more understandable, and that people could engage with. And by doing that, you know, within sort of like 2 or 3 sessions, we very, very quickly got to the point that everybody then went, right, I'm in, I understand, I'm on board. And the sense of engagement and the sense of energy that was around that was very, very visible. You know, there was a lot of people who, you know, for whatever reason, it's like, oh, excellent, I know where I'm going, or oh, excellent, I'm feeling invigorated by this news. So even that, from that perspective, was really, you know, was really, really positive. So it's worth doing that exercise. You know, if you take nothing away from the conversation we're having at the moment, go and try those 2 things. Check your destination, sit quietly, ask yourself, do you know, can you communicate it? Is it clear? Second thing, take a representation of your team. Get them, you know, ask them the questions and see what responses you get. Take that, decide whether you need to reset. If you do, absolutely fine. We can help you reset. We can help you. You can download the resources and you're ready to go. So, like I said, we use this document, which unfortunately I can't share on my screen right now. So we use this document with our clients as a starting point on, like I said, our 6-stage program. And it does generate questions, it generates a lot of conversation, but it more importantly acts as a kickoff in terms of what we're trying to achieve. And it will generate a different set of questions that will help you get much more sort of clarity around it. So in terms of what you'll see, you see page 1 and you see sort of how, you know, the sort of questions that are down here. And how it relates is when you walk through it, is you will see that the first 2 questions talk about your compass, they talk about your North Star. The next 2 questions will talk about your drivers and your values, and then the further one will talk about your, you know, your legacy and where you want your business to go and what you want to be able to achieve from it. Because owner intent isn't about us being in the business all of the time. You know, we want time with personally, for me, I want time with my family. I want to spend time with my friends. I want to be financially secure, that I can afford to do things that I want to do, whilst also being engaged within the business and growing and developing my own business. And I think it's important that we get clear on that. I think it's important that as business owners, we do get clear on what our intention is for our business, how we run the business, how we engage with the business, you know, how we engage, how we expect our behaviours of our individual and our employees to be able to engage with our customers. All of that needs to be sort of really clear. And I think sometimes it's very difficult for business owners to have that conversation about their own personal intention, their personal values and their personal intention. What is it important to you? Had a conversation with a client the other day. Again, he wanted to grow to 7 weeks holiday per year whilst not being contacted by the office. So the office had become so dependent on him and his time and his knowledge that what had happened was he had almost made himself indispensable. By doing that, one of his objectives in terms of his personal values was very, very much around building the team's resilience and competence to allow him to step away from the business for 7 weeks of the year to be able to do what he wanted to do. He had other interests that he wanted to concentrate on. So it was important for him in his own sort of headspace to have that time. And I think sometimes that's what happens, founder syndrome. We get quite guilty about trying to get our arms around everything. And then we actually become indispensable. By becoming indispensable, our business then becomes a challenge to us. So those are the types of things that it will pull out. It's not sort of at a sort of superficial level, it goes sort of quite deep. What it also does is we also see something called the hedgehog concept, which I think, you know, most of you will probably have heard of. It's Jim Collins, and he talks about clarity around, so the essence of the concept is basically to sort of help the organization obtain complete clarity about how to produce the best results for them. And the ability to look at something and say, no thanks, that's not the opportunity that we're looking for. No thanks, that's where we want it, that's not where we want to go. So it's a really, really good clever, easy little exercise to be able to complete. And it will give you sort of your focus on where you're going. And once you've got that, that then leads on to be able to say, if we know what we're good at and we know where our money comes from and how, you know, where we're most profitable, where we add most value, and how we want to engage, how we choose to engage with the type of customers and what our ideal customer avatar is, you're able to use that right from the very beginning in terms of recruitment and onboarding of your people. When you're interviewing them and you're appointing them into jobs, you have a very clear vision about what you are doing, where you're going, and what your products, how your products support and enhance lives of others. It's those types of things. So there was a lot of value in these two little pieces of paper, and we would encourage you to have a look at them. So let's just recap, because I think we are probably nearly at time. I have 2 minutes to finish off. So just to recap then, do the exercise in terms of the destination. You know, are you really clear on where you are going? Is your team behind you, and do they support you, and are they clear about where they are going and what their role is in that for you? That's really the sort of the starting block for all of this. And if not, it's fine. The past 18 months have blown quite a lot of things out of the water. So if you need to reset, it's a good time to be able to reset right now. And to help you to reset, download our owner intent destination document, answer the questions, spend some time doing it. First time you do it will be quite superficial. Put it down, walk away from it for a couple of days, come back, run it again, have a highlighter, highlight the areas that are calling to you, that are speaking to you, that are resonating with you. And those will be the ones that you will be concentrating on. Those will be the ones that obviously are important to you and have come to the surface. And those are the ones that will help you to be able to be clear about what it is you want to achieve. It's not just for business owners, this, by the way, it will work for leaders. We do this sort of further down the cycle of our program. And we work on a similar version for leaders as well, in order to be clear about that message that's come from here and how that emulates down into sort of leadership and team. So it can work for that, you know, that as well. But it's mostly important around, you know, destination for business owners. So I need to finish up because it's almost 1 o'clock. So to download our 7 questions, then go to our website, which is www.rowanhr.com/resources. You will find a heap of tools in there. The one you're looking for is owner intent destination. We also have our leadership playbook in there as well, if you wanted to download that one as well. Alternatively, if you want to have a chat with us and you want to have a free discovery call, please feel free to message us or to give us a call. You'll find the details on all of our contacts on our website, which again is www.rowanhr.com, or you can come join us at Rowan Tribe on any of our social media channels. We have a Rowan Tribe membership, and if you wanted to find out more, you're welcome to. So yeah, come download, come have a conversation with us. We will be doing more of these over the next couple of weeks. So if you like them, then subscribe, tag, follow, share, do as you please. So we hope you found that useful, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Okay, thanks for your time. Bye.